Hey guys, what's going on? It's Blake Ruffino from Are You Serious Sports. And this AYS short is brought to you by the Drake Williams Law Firm, drakewilliamslawfirm.com. Whether you've been injured in an accident, you're preparing for a future with your estate planning, you're getting ready to close in on a real estate deal, or you're about to welcome a new addition through adoption into your family, or you're facing criminal charges, you need very experienced attorneys, and that is what the Drake Williams Law Firm will be able to do for you in navigating the legal system. The door to their cozy office in historic downtown Ponchatoula has been open since 1981. They have helped thousands and thousands of Louisiana families and individuals win cases, close on real estate deals, and regain that peace of mind. Their lawyers over at the Drake Williams Law Firm, Ernie Drake III, Ryan J. Williams, and Summer Vignair, are very determined, compassionate, and dedicated to their craft. It's the Drake Williams Law Firm, drakewilliamslawfirm.com. Give them a call today at 985-386-7600. Tell them your good friend Blake Ruffino at AYS sent you on by. It's been too long. Mike, what's up, brother?
What's good, man? How you doing?
Mike, I got to be honest. It's raining outside. I don't like it when it rains too much, man, but it's okay. It's been a good day. We're blessed. What about you?
Man, I'm doing good, man. Chilling, relaxing, ready for workouts tomorrow. You know,
just ready to
better.
Ready for the grind, huh?
Ready for the grind on the weekend.
Well, Mike, look, I'm going to give a little preface about what our segment's going to be. Look, we're just going to talk sports, man. We're just going to talk sports. We're going to talk a lot of things. But look, let's talk about it. Spring's announced today, okay? And with spring being announced today, I mean, you've been through spring a couple of times. How excited are you for spring to be here? And what's your thought process going into a spring? I mean, look, it's different than going into a regular season, but what's your thoughts going into this spring specifically?
Well, I would say I'm super excited. This spring is kind of different than the other springs I've done because my other springs I was at Clemson, and so I had been with the same coach that I've been with since I was being recruited in high school. And so now I get to, come and adapt and learn under a new staff. Super excited, man. I could already tell I love Coach House. I know the whole linebacker room does, man, the whole defense. So I know we're all super excited from that aspect. But I get excited about, playing my best ball. And a part of that is learning new things. And so I'm excited to learn and get an opportunity to go compete and just watch this team grow as we get ready to, get things started when it gets around that time, August, September.
Right. And, Mike, at least for me, playing and going through spring, I always felt like, and I don't know if this is like this for you, but like I want to better myself too, like learn the system, get better with the system. But and I don't mean this in a selfish way, but it's a lot of like you're wanting to perfect your craft too, right? Like,
absolutely.
Hey, you can make a mistake in spring. Like, hey, you know what? I'm going to try to get up to this backer as a center. He's faster and sometimes probably even stronger than I am, but I can make that mistake and we can do things. How much do you focus on just perfecting your craft, but while trying to be a part of the team? Like, is that something that you mentally think about during the spring too?
Oh yeah, absolutely. One thing I would tell my young guys as I got older is the spring is when you build the confidence for the season.
Right.
And that is completely honest. You can make as many mistakes as you need, even though you don't want to make mistakes. But that's the opportunity where you really get to learn things to go slow. You're not worried about who you're gonna play in 2 weeks. You just get to go out there and play football and get comfortable. And so and it's all in the team aspect too, at least, I would say from my mindset, because, being a linebacker, you kind of have to depend on everybody else. I mean, in football, you got to depend on everybody else regardless. But, for me, I always think, the success I'm going to have this year coming up, it all starts now. You know what I'm saying? If I can get comfortable doing this right now, when it's time to go do it in the game, that's going to be easy, but I got to do it right now though,
Right. Well, and that's the thing, man. And everybody talks about practice and like, why do you need practice? But and people even talk about, Mike, like even during the COVID year, right? Like when you don't have spring, and well, why the guys look a little not sloppy, but maybe just a little rusty. It's because you're not able to go out there during spring and perfect some of those things. and
Facts.
have continuity, and that's something big. Mike Jones, LSU linebacker, joining us. Mike, let's just kick it around, brother. I mean, look, me and you talked about this, but the Super Bowl, a guy that scored a couple times in that Super Bowl was one of your former teammates, and T. Higgins. I mean, when you see a guy like that scoring, and you see how big the Super Bowl is, guys like Joe Burrow, who's from LSU, a guy that you played against, like, what goes through your mind when you're sitting on the couch and you're just like, bro, T's going off right now, bro? Like, what do you think about?
For me, with T, that was kind of like a surreal moment because I've known of T, since I was in high school. When I was a freshman growing up in Nashville, I used to go to the University of Tennessee all the time, and so all the guys, like the big players around the day, going there visits, I used to be like, "Yo, that's T. Higgins," like he's been
Right.
balling. And then we became good friends whenever I was at Clemson, and like it's kind of like a wow, you really made it moment. Like you really made it. And
Right.
so man, it's so awesome, man. It is so awesome, but also it like kind of makes it like a goal in my mind, like I gotta go harder. Like I want to make it too.
Right.
Like
Right.
these dreams are attainable, and like I've never doubted myself. I've never thought they weren't. But like when you see somebody it's like, you know what, I can really do this. I can do this.
Right. Well, it's so funny, like, and we were talking about it too, but like you see guys like Aaron Donald, right? You like, and you see how explosive and crazy good he is. Mike, he's the best player in the game, in my opinion. Like
I
I know
agree.
that sounds crazy, but you just said you agree. You think he's the
I
best
agree.
player in
Now
all,
that Tom Brady's retired.
bro, bro. That man's just like. Do you really think that he's like sitting out there like during the off season, like, I'm the best in the world. Like, I know what my craft is. I'm going to perfect my craft. Do you think he ever thinks about that?
Personally, if it was me, I would. I definitely would. But I feel like
Right.
he like always come back better. So I feel like he's probably one of them guys that's like, I got more to do, more to achieve. Which is a good mindset, but there's got to be points too where he's like, can't nobody stop me. You know?
Right. Well, and I always try to go in like, when you see someone that's really successful, like go inside their mind, like, what is this guy thinking? Is this like, how does he prepare? Like, is there something that he does
Mm,
that I could get better at?
yeah.
And it's so weird, Mike. I pull out like the stupidest stuff. Like he might say something that's so profound. I'm like, that applies to my everyday living. No, it don't. The man's eating avocado ice cream. That doesn't apply to my everyday living. So, anyway, is there something that stood out to you in that Super Bowl though, outside of T and guys like Aaron Donald?
Mm. For me, I think it was just the fact that Cincinnati was able to get there at all.
Right.
Coming into the playoffs, they I wasn't picking on them to go to the Super Bowl. I actually bet against them every week. Like in my little mind, I'm saying, okay, I got the Titans.
Right. Right.
I
Right.
definitely got the Chiefs. You know, and the fact that they beat everybody, they overcome so much adversity. 9 sacks. The Titans supposed to be going to the Super Bowl. You
Bro.
know, that
Right.
hurt, but it's mind blowing. It's kind of
And
like just
did you
makes me think
grow up
about
a
the game.
Titans fan, by the way? I mean, you're from Nashville. Did you grow up a Titans fan?
That's a tough one, man. Tennessee, they weren't the best when I was growing up. Chris
Right.
Johnson was good. We like Chris Johnson,
Oh, dude.
but yeah, now it's like I don't want to be a bandwagon because I wasn't a huge Titans fan back then. But yeah, growing up, it was tough. It was tough in Nashville.
Yeah, the Nissan Stadium, it's not the best, bro. I mean, they have, concrete that's falling. I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to go there. But nevertheless, I did go there, and it just unbelievable speed. I mean, when you
Yeah.
see a guy running a 4.23 and a 40, and like what you're running a 40, I mean,
Yeah.
what goes through your mind? I mean, I know what goes through my. I ran a forever. If you were wondering, that was my 40 time. I ran a forever. But when you see stuff like that? What do you think about?
Better fill your gap fast,
Right.
real fast, because it could turn to a touchdown at any moment.
No
Yeah,
doubt.
that's like crazy in my mind, and everybody's fast, you know, but that's like different level of speed. I don't even know if I've seen anybody that fast. You know,
Right.
I don't know. I don't know. It's hard because you got regular guys that are 4.3, 4.4. Regular college speed, and if you leave too much time, what I'm saying, you don't hit that gap at the right time, it could be gone. You
Right.
know, and so to have that much speed, man, that just stresses me out. I don't want to think about that.
Hey, remember what they say on Bad Boys? Remember your pressure points. Woosah.
Woosah.
Woosah, man. Just be cool. Just read your keys. Mike Jones joining us. Mike, you come from the ACC. You played at Clemson, then you come to the SEC. Look, you have a huge sack against a guy like Bryce Young. I mean, kind of a coming out party a little bit to LSU fans, right? Like they know who you are, but nevertheless, you have a big sack against him. Is there something for you though that was a big difference coming from the ACC to the SEC, or is it like, hey man, there's a lot of great athletes, in both conferences, but what was that transition like when you made it?
I think the main thing and probably the most obvious is the physicality of the game. And I was playing a different position too. But even whenever I did some of that stuff here at LSU, you got to be 10 toes down at all time. Great, like you said, great athletes everywhere. But I truly believe the SEC is bigger, and just the guys. You got to be ready to go hit. I had to gain weight myself. Like the 220 me would not have been able to hang around here. He run fast, but when you gotta go against them big tight ends, man, and them fast, strong backs, you got to be able to bring it to yourself. And
Right.
so I think that was the difference, man. And two, the stadiums in the SEC. Oh my gosh.
Right.
Every week. I can give you an example. Like I had never been to a Mississippi State game, and I remember going on the field and I was one of the captains, so I got to go out there earlier. And I'm like, what on earth? Are we at freaking Penn State? Like, where are we at? Is this the whiteout? Like, this is crazy. Yeah, man. The moments are definitely huge. And I'm not saying all SEC schools are small. Clemson, they always keep it rocking. Virginia Tech, everybody knows about their whole thing. But it's literally every week. Freaking Kentucky. I was like, when did Kentucky get like this? There's no way it's been like this.
They only were like that till you got there, Mike. I'm just letting you know.
That's what I'm saying. I was like, good Lord, is every game packed out everywhere? Right.
So, like, even the Auburn game, I mean, and I asked because was the Auburn game the first time that you had experienced like Death Valley? I mean, I know. Let me rephrase my words. I don't want Clemson fans to get upset when I say Death Valley. Was it your first time experiencing an atmosphere like that at LSU? Was that the biggest atmosphere that you think you maybe had ever been a part of?
Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. That was crazy. Especially down to the end, like towards the end of the game.
Right.
It was so loud. Like, no, it was actually crazy. Yeah, man. Great environment though, man. That's like I look at the stadium sometimes. I'm like, I can't believe this is this big. It's ridiculous. It's honestly ridiculous. And the student section be so packed out. I'm like, I remember my first time. It might have been Auburn game. I was like, what is happening here? Like, this is crazy. But yeah.
And they feel it for whatever reason. And you probably know this. I mean, you've been down there, but it feels like the student section is much more up on you than like everything else. I mean,
heck yes.
Am I the only person that feels that way? It's
so much. It's so much like so many people in such a little area. You're like, are they like? Is it 100,000 people in that one section?
Bro, I know, and they're there early. They're loud the entire game. It's just unreal. Mike, a couple more, and look, as we continue with the partnership, we'll continue. But it being the first day, and you've been fantastic. You grow up and you see the SEC at least over the last 20 years, and I'm sure that you've seen the SEC over the last 20 years and how dominant they've been. Now, Brian Kelly comes in, a lot of staff changes, a lot of things are different, but you've been in a lot of high-pressure situations, being at Clemson, being at LSU, sacking the Heisman Trophy winner, and things like that. what is there? I used to talk to myself during the game, like, Blake, chill out. You're fine. Don't get the big head. I always got the big head, though. I'm like, yeah, bro, I just got you. But what do you say when you're in that big of an environment? Because, and I'm sure it gets easier with time, but I still get the goosebumps every time the audio pumps on the podcast. But is there something that you say to yourself that you're like, all right, Mike, it's time to just, be calm, be relaxed, and get focused, and let's go?
Man, more than saying anything, I just try to breathe. Like I get to breathing fast, and once the game, like I'm in game mode, I ramble. I remember Coach V, I'm pretty sure it was like my freshman year, told me I'm wasting too much energy before the game even starts, just screaming and yelling, you
Right.
know? And so I've like learned as I've grown up, just chill, just chill. It's football,
Right. At the end of the day, it's a game that you played in the backyard.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Uh,
Yeah, so.
Last two, Mike, I promise. The transition you made, and we talked about this a little off air, but maybe not, not so much in the, because me and you'll get talking, and we're talking like the position, the coverage, and all this kind of stuff. But coming from the outside and then moving inside, you talked about the weight. With the physicality being the biggest part, was there anything else for you, though, that was like something that you didn't expect? Like, I'm sure you expected going into playing an inside linebacker, like, hey, man, it's going to be a lot more physical. But was there anything more that that happened that you didn't expect that would really happen? Like, meaning coverage. Like, look, you got to cover two. You got to get deeper than sometimes than maybe you realize, or things like that. Is there something that you thought that, man, I thought I'd be okay here, but it was maybe a little bit of a learning curve?
Definitely just your eyes, playing out in space, you're so far away, it takes time for things to develop and get to you, versus when you're in the box, you got to see it right now. Because if you're late, that's the difference between, you being able to get over a block or the block being over on your shoulder and getting washed by. Like the measure of, how fast you can diagnose plays was so much quicker than what I had thought coming in. I thought I was just gonna be faster than everybody and run and just ball. Because that's kind of what you're doing when you're in space.
Right.
But it's so much more anticipation and just being able to read and recognize and react as fast as you can. That whenever I first started, I haven't done that in my life, and up until my senior year of high school was my first true year playing linebacker. And then I was still playing like, the Sand Mountain space, in Clemson,
Right.
I'm playing out in Sand Mountain space all the rest of the time. And so I haven't had that, those experiences until I got here, And so that was something that definitely my first day, I was like, oh, whoa, I did not know this is what it was.
When you got Anthony Bradford's big butt coming after you.
Man, what? Oh, man.
Oh, that dude's so big, bro. I thought I was a big dude, bro. He's thick. He's thick.
Trust me, I know. I know. We try to run away from him. Y'all seen a running back try to run away from
bro. That's the number one thing, dude. Don't run away. I ain't gonna run after your ass for that long. I'm just gonna tell you. Ryan Williams, our good buddy over the Drake Williams Law Firm, chimes in. He says, "Let's go, Mike Jones." What's up,
yes,
Ryan?
Sir.
What's up?
What's good?
Yeah, dude. A lot of people pouring in. Blaine Smith says, "Great in for you. Hope for a big season." And look, Mike, that's what we hope for you. But the one last thing, is there anything that you're watching tonight? I mean, look, it's Thursday night. I didn't ask you this the other day, but are you big like in the NBA? Do you watch the NBA a lot? Like, what does Mike do? What does Mike watch during the off season?
I watch the NBA during the playoffs. I watch Kevin Durant, in the finals. That's really it. Kevin Durant in the finals. Yeah, but other than that, man, I play a lot of Call of Duty,
Oh,
I can get my competitive nature out on that,
Okay. What console does Mr. Mike Jones like to play on?
So I've been a PlayStation guy basically my whole life.
Don't tell me you switched. Don't do it to me, Mike.
I didn't switch to Xbox. Trust me, I'm not a sellout.
Okay. As long
I got a PC. I got a PC, and the only reason I got it was really so I could play Call of Duty and like have it be faster. And my games taken off to another
Oh,
level.
dude, we're doing the show right here from a PC, and everybody's like, Blake, how did you shoot him so fast? I'm like, bro, I just got better internet. Don't my internet's slow. I mean, I mean, I ain't gonna say what it's slower than, but it's slow. But I agree with you. I agree with you. You know, Mike, it's funny. You know, you talk about like playing Call of Duty and stuff like that. Call of Duty is not a promo on this show, by the way. Just need to throw the copyright infringement out there. Is there anything specific you like to play? Like some people like Team Deathmatch, some people like Free for All. I mean, what does Mike Jones gear up and play?
Man, I have become a Warzone disciple.
Okay.
Every day, probably not every single day, but if it's a week, 6 days I'm playing Warzone. And it might not be super long. It might be 20 minutes and we get killed and the game's not fun. Let me relax and not be pissed off. But there are some 3-4 hour days. There's some 5 hour days.
I understand. Sometimes dude, let me tell you something very quickly. I don't remember this guy's name. I'm a gamer, but I'm not really. I'm like I'm the cash guy. You know, like I'll come in there, get 20 and 10, 35, 20, whatever, and then I'm gonna roll out. Like, you know, like the whole song goes, bro. I'm from Louisiana. We call it that boot. You know, I feel good about it. So there's this guy. I don't know his name. He's like number 2 in the world. I didn't know that at the time. First time we get in Warzone, killing. Okay, bro, you would have thought that it was the worst thing that I'd ever done. It's the worst thing that I'd ever had. I didn't have another kill. He like came and found me the entire time, just like murked me. And he's like, "Don't you ever do this again?" And I'm like, "Bro, I didn't play for 3 weeks. I got so pumped, you know. I'm like, bro, I just was having fun, and this guy like made me feel bad. But I say all that to say this: have you played with anybody? Maybe not. I don't want to say famous, but maybe somebody that's you know, Ben Simmons is on there a lot of times for LSU fans. You ever played anybody that's like really famous, or you weren't expecting anything, or expecting them to come in?
One time, one of my old teammates from high school, I forgot who we were with, but we were playing with a whole bunch of NFL guys, and I was like, "Let me not be psycho right now." You know, maybe have me as a friend. Who knows?
right. That's pretty cool. I lied last one because everybody in the comments, Mike. I mean, we have like 2,000 comments tonight on the show, but everybody keeps asking, so I'm going to ask. Who? We talked about this. I mean, you have the name. So when you sack Bryce Young next year, or you have another big play, and the whole stadium goes, "Who?" Are you okay with that?
That is something I've dreamed of my whole life. Let me just let that be known.
All right.
I've dreamed about this. And when I do, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do who?
I mean, look, just call me Paul Wall, the Iceman, who's got the crystal balls, because I'm going to be screaming who at the top of my lungs. I'll just let you know that. Mike, dude, I'm so excited, so happy. You're such an amazing person. Excited for you to be a part of the team. But look, tell everybody where they can follow you on Twitter, things that you're doing, Instagram, stuff like that, and just plug, you know, all of your social media pages.
Oh, yeah. So Twitter is @_MJones24. That was my old football number in high school. And then on Instagram, I think it's MJones__6, something like that. You can probably just look up Mike Jones and find it somewhere.
Awesome. Well, it is. I when I thought about that, I was like, maybe, you know, dude, I don't remember half of this stuff. Let's be honest. But it is @_MJones24 on Twitter. Everybody go follow him. Mike, thank you so much, man. We'll talk again soon, and we have a lot of news coming, but we'll table that for another day. We'll talk to you soon, buddy.
Bet, man. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Mike. That's Mike Jones, LSU starting linebacker, joining us, man. I got